Have you ever wished to discover how to help your employees with their occupational stress in a mindful approach? What if there is a way to building a productive and supportive environment for your employees that leads you to influence the organizational culture positively? Well, this is your invitation to join us to Mindful Leader Talk, a podcast on the effects of mindfulness as a secular practice on occupational stress and organizational culture. The information presented in this podcast is general. It is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. It should be never used to diagnose, prescribe medical or psychological conditions, or replace a physician. And it is not intended to prevent, treat, or cure such conditions or substitute for mental care, preventive health care, counseling, or therapy from or a physical or mental health professional. Thank you for listening and blessings. Blessings and welcome to the Mindful Leader Talk podcast, Mindfully Coping with Occupational Stress. I am Maria Baez, an organizational leadership psychologist, consultant, trainer, coach, and a full-time magician. Today's podcast is about the myth and paradigms about mindfulness. What is not mindfulness? Several studies about the definition and origin of mindfulness indicates that this term has been used for hundreds of years, but not before the late 19th century was explicitly connected with meditation practice. In 1881, the professor Thomas William Rhys Davids translated the word Satis from the Pali language into the English language as mindfulness. Literally, the term Satis refers to memory, but it is used independently as thought, also the activity of the mind, and the constant presence of what the mind is generating, thoughts. The terms mindfulness already existed in the Buddhist context before reaching Western culture. According to the meaning of the Buddhist culture given to the term Satis, it is remembering, but it refers to memory when used with meditation. One of the most profound myths and paradigms about the term mindfulness, it is to relate it in one way or another to the concept of religion, spirituality, or some religious sect. However, thanks to the work done by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, professor of medicine and founder of Mindfulness-based stress reduction program, since 1976, the approach to mindfulness has changed. Although Dr. Kabat-Zinn incorporated various meditation techniques from Buddhist traditions into his mindfulness-based stress reduction program, he uses mindfulness as a secular practice applied through scientific lenses. In my beginnings with mindful leadership, it seems to me very interesting to see how some organizational leaders reacted when I mentioned mindfulness in the work environment. Some even asked me, hey, what's going on? You got into Buddhism now? According to the mindfulness-based stress reduction program at the University of Massachusetts, the Center for Mindfulness in Medicine, healthcare, more than 22,000 individuals have been treated for and also receive some form of therapy-based mindfulness as a cognitive therapy to treat depression. Many studies confirm and recognize the benefits individuals obtain both in the psychological and physical fields. Therefore, they disconnect the term mindfulness from its religious roots. The most frequently asked question is what mindfulness means. Well, I will say, in general, mindfulness practices are very likely to deliberated involve the effort to stabilize attention on specific physical sensations and emotional stimuli, reestablish and sustain the present moment, and keep the mind away from wandering. This deep commitment to the here and now is combined with an attitude of acceptance and openness to allow thoughts and emotions to come and go without applying a cognitive assessment. Focus attention on what the breath is. Help us to create awareness of what we are thinking and the sensations that we are having in our physical body in the present moment. The psychologist and science journalist from Harvard University, also well known for popularizing the concept of emotional intelligence, Daniel Kahneman, said mindfulness refers to what moves inside your mind, where you notice that it is wandering. So it's like monitoring what you do and where your mind is going. And meditation is one of the ways to train mindfulness attention. He also cites that among the most notorious benefits of mindfulness practices are to lower the stress levels produced by the hormone cortisol, promote and enhance the immune system's response, elevate mood, sharpen focus, deliberate attention, and help us recover more quickly from any stressful situation. I first put into practice mindfulness in my personal life, then extended to the professional area. I learned that mindfulness is not acquired overnight. It's not a magic pill that you may buy at the pharmacy or grocery store. It is not a technique with structured tools that tell you step by step what you should do. It is not a religion, but instead it is a way of living. So when I started with mindfulness practices, I have to admit that I was skeptical about the myth that it could be linked to some kind of religion. After reading one of the books of Jon Kabat-Zinn's, Mindfulness for Beginners, claiming the present moment and your life, I learned that mindfulness, it is not that kind of cold, hard practice, clinical or analytical therapy of one having to pursue something. I also learned that meditation means peace of mind, relaxation through the direct appreciation of our breath. You don't have to go somewhere. You don't have to do something. You don't have to attain anything. Just be. Let me explain. When a person forces or does something out of obligation or desires exaggerately to achieve a state of meditation, the mind enters to a stage of judgment. It reacts so profoundly to find solutions. In the end, what is attained is the state of stress. As a result, what one usually gets is the opposite of what is expected. That's is why it is challenging for us to achieve a meditative state sometimes, because we are thinking of obtaining a particular form of mind relaxation. I would say that to practice mindfulness, instead of doing it as a simple technique, a therapy, or as one more task that one have to perform within our hectic day, I will say that the first thing to do is to understand that concept as a way of living. Mindfulness is living, recognizing that life is changeable, that the awareness we put in the present moment is what makes life worth living, moment after moment after moment. Mindfulness is a powerful vehicle to carry out that transformation and possible healing within each of us and the world. This is pretty much it for this episode. Thank you for listening and stay tuned for the next topic in 2 weeks. Are there effects of mindfulness on the cognitive, nervous, and immune system? If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please visit my website www.mbiasconsulting.com or send me an email to maria@mbiasconsulting.com. This is the Mindful Leader Talk, a podcast on the effects of mindfulness as a secular practice on occupational stress and organizational culture. Feel free to invite, to listen, or share this podcast. Stay tuned for all coming episodes to building profitable organizations driven by the well-being of their employees and therefore our society. In the meantime, please stay safe. Blessings!